2. In a small forgotten town tucked between crooked forests and fog-soaked hills, there lived a witch named Fury. Most people didn't dare speak her name out loud. They muttered it in frightened whispers and hurried past her old mansion whenever they walked too close. Children were warned never to go near her place, and even adults crossed the street when they saw smoke rising from her chimney. But deep inside that creaky, shadow-filled mansion, Witch Fury wasn't the wicked monster everyone imagined. She was just lonely, misunderstood, and hopelessly spectacularly clumsy. Her heart's greatest wish was to become a powerful sorceress. But every spell she attempted fizzled, popped, or misfired in some embarrassing way. Even her broomstick refused to fly in a straight line, and the only creature who ever kept her company was her energetic dog, Bobby, a fluffy thing with floppy ears and a playful spirit. One gloomy autumn afternoon, as the wind howled through the twisted branches outside, Fury stood before her bubbling cauldron, determined to prove herself. She had decided to brew a potion that would steal all laughter in town and turn it into sadness. 3. It wasn't that she truly wanted to hurt anyone. She just believed that if people feared her, they would stop mocking her mistakes. The cauldron burbled like a creature waking from a nap. Purple smoke curled upward, forming little shapes in the air. Fury stirred it carefully, or at least, she tried to. Bobby scolded as her dog zoomed past, bumping into a shelf. "Move away, you'll spoil my unhappy potion before I can share it with the townsfolk." But Bobby paid no attention. His tail wagged like a drumstick beating, rapid bursts against everything in reach. He chased floating sparks from the cauldron and leaped over ingredients scattered on the floor. Fury sighed, brushing back her tangled hair. "If only you'd stay still for one moment." She reached for a bottle labeled Bat Claw Powder, the final ingredient needed for her sorrowful brew. Only Bobby bumped into her legs again. Her hand slipped, grabbing a nearby bottle by mistake. Without noticing the mix-up, Fury dumped the entire bottle into the cauldron. A sweet smell suddenly filled the room, but Fury was too caught up in her dramatic spellcasting to notice. Shoes scooped a portion of the potion into a tiny glass vial and raised it high. Laughter to tears, smiles to fears, sweet dreams to spooky screams. She chanted triumphantly. Just then, Bobby tangled himself around her ankles, and Fury stumbled forward. Her old broom clattered to the ground. She tripped over it, and splash! The potion bottle flew out of her hands and shattered. Right on Bobby. There was a bright pop, a flash of syrupy light. Bobby blinked, and then, poof, he turned into a giant, brightly colored, wiggling, bouncing candy. Fury froze. She rubbed her eyes. This couldn't be happening. But there, Bobby was now a huge peppermint-striped ball bouncing around her room, knocking over chairs and shelves as he went, boing-boing-boing in cheerful loops. "No, Bobby," she cried, chasing after him. "Stop bouncing. Come back." But no matter how fast she ran, the candy dog bounced faster. He hopped through the window, landed in the pond outside, and with a heartbreaking hiss, began to melt. Fury skidded to the pond's edge, staring at the sugary ripples on the water's surface. Her voice cracked. Bobby, her only friend, was gone. Word spread quickly through the town. Wild, twisted stories of how the Wicked Witch had destroyed her own dog with a curse gone wrong. People added more and more frightening details, delighting in scaring each other. She finally got what she deserved. Some laughed. No more curses from her. Others cheered, and without meaning to, they created a new day of celebration, a day full of candy, costumes, and jokes about witches. They called it Halloween. Most people were delighted by the new holiday, but not everyone. A gentle girl named Millie listened quietly as others laughed and celebrated. She wasn't frightened of magic, and she wasn't one to mock others. She wasn't evil, Millie whispered to herself. She was just clumsy. And she lost her best friend. Every year on Halloween, Millie did something special. She walked through town feeding stray animals, dogs, cats, even the occasional crow. She did it to honor Bobby, the dog, whose story had been twisted into jokes. Years passed. Behind the dark walls of her lonely mansion, Fury kept her grief and anger locked inside. She remembered the laughter that filled the town when Bobby melted, laughter that felt sharper than any knife. Over time, that pain hardened into bitterness. On one Halloween night, the coldest one the town had seen in years, Fury finally snapped. "I've had enough," she muttered, pulling out her old spellbook. "If they want fear, I'll give them fear." She rummaged through her dusty closet and found a huge pumpkin costume, the perfect disguise. She placed the carved pumpkin over her head, hiding her identity completely. "No one will recognize me," she said. "This time, I won't make any mistakes." She grabbed a new bottle of that dreadful, but accidentally sweetened potion, the same kind that had turned Bobby into a bouncing candy, and stepped outside for the first time in years. The wind pushed leaves around her feet as she marched toward the town. Door after door, she knocked. "Trick or treat?" she asked in a low, spooky voice. When the first man opened the door, smiling politely, Fury hissed, "Treat! Here's your treat," and sprayed him. Poof. He turned into a giant bouncing candy, crashing into his own porch before rolling into the street. Fury cackled. "Let's see you laugh at me now." She moved to the next house. A cheerful little girl opened the door this time. She had pigtails and a bucket full of candies she planned to share with her friends. "Trick or treat?" Fury interrupted gleefully, spraying her too. Poof. Another bouncing candy hopped down the stairs, leaving a sugary trail behind her. Fury kept going door to door, house to house, until the quiet streets of the little town were suddenly alive with enormous candies bouncing in every direction. Millie was nearby, placing food beside a group of stray cats, when something large and sticky bumped into her leg. She turned and screamed. A giant peppermint candy rolled past her, wobbling dangerously. Then a caramel apple the size of a child bounced by. Then a gigantic cookie hopped like a startled frog. "What is going on?" Millie cried. She followed the bouncing trail of chaos until she reached the main street. There, in the middle of the commotion, stood a tall figure with a pumpkin head, spraying potion at terrified people. "Hey," Millie shouted. "Stop right there! What are you doing to these people?" The pumpkin-headed witch froze, then bolted. Millie sprinted after her. The chase that followed was the wildest the town had ever seen. The witch crashed into a Halloween stand, sending hundreds of pumpkins rolling everywhere. Millie leaped over them, one after another, like a runner leaping over hurdles. 2. The witch darted between decorations, tripped over fake tombstones, knocked over broomsticks and glowing lanterns, but she kept scrambling away. Finally, she dashed into a narrow alley. But it was a dead end. Millie slowed, breathless, as the witch pressed her back against the cold wall. Trembling, the pumpkin-headed figure clutched the potion bottle close to her chest. She gasped. Witch Fury! Fury looked smaller without the pumpkin mask, smaller and sadder. Her eyes were swollen, her face streaked with old tears. "Why are you doing this?" Millie asked softly. "Why, after all these years?" "They laughed at me," Fury spat bitterly, "while I cried over losing Bobby. They held parties. They dressed as witches for fun. They made candy shaped like me. They turned my pain into entertainment." Millie's anger softened. She saw not a monster but a woman who had lived too long with loneliness. "Fury, hurting people won't fix your heart," Millie whispered. "Revenge only grows the sadness you already feel." Fury looked down, her hands trembling. "I don't know how to stop," she admitted. "I don't know how to be good anymore. It's been so long." Millie glanced around, candies still bouncing down the street, rolling past like confused, oversized toys. Then she spotted something near a cluster of pumpkins, a small stray puppy. Shivering but curious, sniffing at a bouncing candy, Millie scooped him up gently and brought him to Fury. "Look," she said with a warm smile. "Isn't he sweet? He looks just like Bobby." Fury's breath caught. The puppy had the same floppy ears, the same bright, trusting eyes. He whimpered softly, reaching his tiny paws toward her. I don't deserve him," Fury whispered. "You do," Millie said firmly. "Phew, promise to stop hurting people, he can stay with you. Let him heal your heart." Slowly, as if afraid he might vanish, Fury took the puppy into her arms. The little dog nuzzled her cheek. Fury's eyes filled with tears, this time not from sorrow, but from something warm and gentle. "I promise," she whispered. "No more curses, no more bitterness. This little one, he'll be my best friend." Millie smiled. They returned to the town square and together mixed a counter potion. Fury poured it into the air, letting sparkles drift down like glowing dust. One by one, the giant candies shimmered and transformed back into people, dizzy, sticky, and confused, but unharmed. The townspeople stared at Fury in shock, but Millie stepped forward. "She's not evil," she said boldly. "She was hurting, and she's changed." The puppy barked at Fury's feet, wagging his tail, and the crowd slowly softened. Fury named him Candy, in memory of the strange curse that had brought him to her. From that day forward, Fury was no longer feared. Chu became a kind, animal-loving sorceress who walked the streets every Halloween with Candy by her side, helping Millie feed stray animals and handing out treats instead of tricks. And so the town learned a lesson that lasted for generations. Even the coldest, loneliest heart can warm again when someone offers it a little kindness.